Welcome to episode 21 of the Boxed In podcast. We're here at Jackrabbits Boxing Gym. I'm Garrity McCosker.
And I'm Trevor Sombrano.
And I'm Ivan Sylve.
Back on the show, we got Ivan.
Got Ivan back.
The owner here of Jackrabbits. Ivan, I want to say thank you. I've been training here the last couple of weeks now. I'm trying to get back into it. I feel like this might be the first time I'm telling people that are seeing this.
Yeah, you got big plans on the horizon. We're going to cut the mullet.
We're gonna refine.
We're gonna get you back in shape.
Yeah.
Get that ponytail out of there.
How much you weighing?
I think 160.
You think or you know?
I'm not sure because I'm afraid to look.
And so what are you gonna go down to?
140. I'll fight at 140. Yeah.
You gonna fight him? So what are you gonna hang out at? 148? 152?
I think 150.
Okay. When do we expect this guy to have 10 pounds?
135?
Yeah, 130. What's this guy going on 140?
Yeah, 35.
How tall?
All right. Well, 135. That's gonna be difficult, but we can do it.
Yeah.
We'll have a new game plan.
Stop eating so many starches.
Yeah, exactly.
You eat
well, I'm
potatoes?
Italian. I grew up on pasta. So.
Yeah.
Well, cut it.
And then
Potatoes.
Yeah, no, that's not so much. Speaking of Italian, I feel like I'm a little burnt out on the Italian I've had in the last. The only reason I bring it up is because
Polyfop?
I was getting shit but some of my MMA buddies are thinking, oh, you're just liking Paulie because he's an Italian American. Right. But I kind of think it's funny because in the last week or so, I've been pretty Italianed out. Last Wednesday, I took my nonna to see Andrea Bocelli.
Oh, one of the three tenors.
Paulie Malignaggi. I don't know if that's I don't think he's ever been in that group. Paulie Malignaggi, I was trying to support. And then yesterday, I was at this Italian American festival in San Pedro, a block down from where I live. So
that's a lot
I could take a break. I could take a break for about for a bit.
and you watch a Sylvester Stallone movie.
No, I will.
To cap it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah, we got plans for him. We're gonna take some weight off of him.
We take some weight off me.
Yeah.
Look, actually, I haven't told any. I haven't been public.
Rejuvenate his career.
Rejuvenate my career. So, as many as you know, when I was 23, I achieved one of my dreams, and that was found a fight, and I turned pro. I had a second fight, maybe 8 months after that, and I lost that fight. And then I was just down in a rabbit hole of career progression,
the LA's
and
Big
life
Lebowski.
depression. Yeah, so
bowling alleys and beer and the dude.
Yeah, so I'm back now. My evenings are free. I used to work for the last 4 years. I was working down in the harbor, working night shift, and I haven't been very public.
You don't get more
yet.
San Pedro
Bro,
than you.
Yeah.
You are the San Pedro.
Does an Italian festival yesterday.
You rep San Pedro
and
to the
yes,
fullest.
I know.
You got any TVs to sell out of the back of your car? Anything that fell off the crates?
No. Yeah. Those days are long gone.
Right. Don't want to speak on that.
Yeah, back in the day, you used to be able to do that.
You used to be able to come up like that.
Anyway,
let us know.
I'm gonna tell the audience, my audience here that cares. I quit my job, so that's gonna be more time in the gym, and we are going full on for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's cool too, just to follow him on his journey.
No, it's definitely dope.
Post some footage of him training with us, and he's in here with the kids. He's gonna learn fast. Today's the first day. Yeah, you moved around today.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's a different. At this gym, I'm getting something different completely.
What's that called? An education?
Well, yeah. Well, what I feel like here. Well, Trevor, you're kind of introducing a different sort of approach to teaching boxing, and so far, every day's been different, and it's not necessarily just the bags, just the mitts, and just the round, on each one of the bags. You literally have us sitting in chairs doing feints out of chairs.
Lot of drills. Ivan and
drills all over.
Drillers make killers.
Yeah.
That's.
And so I appreciate the workout that I'm getting, and I appreciate Ivan, you letting me come and train here.
We want to get it locked and loaded.
I'm learning something new, and I'm getting rid of maybe. Man, I used to never even keep my head offline. Now I'm doing that right. And today when I was moving in the ring, I actually made a miss one time, and I was like, damn. I thought about it. I was like, damn. You know what? If I had been standing like I used to always stand, I never would have been out of the way in time.
You would have got caught with some dumb shit.
Caught with a dumb punch.
Yeah.
But
what the hell?
But yeah, no. So I'm liking the style you guys are teaching here, and I'm liking working out here. And it's good to stay in the harbor area, you know, be close to home.
Yeah.
Going home, I just go over the bridges, and I'm home. So
you're back in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
And watch any fights this weekend?
I watched the Paulie fight. I watched my friend actually fought on the undercard of Charlo's fight.
Luke
Santa Maria.
Oh, okay.
I thought he did real good.
What the?
Is that Bella?
Oh yeah, that's.
I think it's the
It must
dog.
be outside. Bella. Go ahead.
So, he ended up getting a draw. One judge gave it to him. The other two saw it as a draw, so it was a majority draw. It was a really close fight.
We know some of Luke's people. Some of Luke's people come in here, right? And I mean, we know that he was coming in as the opponent.
Right. It's tough to be a B-sider and put the pressure to steal the fight. And you know, he almost did that. But it's his first fight in a while. His last fight was in Tijuana, and I was down, saw that one. So it's been taking a while for him to get a big look from a big promoter. So I'm hoping that performance.
We got a special guest.
Yeah, that's good. Put her up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, you know, you come in as the with some of his people that come in here in the gym. They said, hey, we're going to bring him over there. He was coming as the opponent, but he knew that Luke could fight, and that's why he brought Luke to get that look. And from what it sounds like to me, and from what I've heard through the grapevine, is that they might have robbed Luke. But I also heard that Luke looked incredible for the first 5 rounds, and he might have let off the gas a little bit in 6th, 7th, and 8th. So
they gave him
they might have, you know,
gave him a reason to rob
and when
him.
you do come in as the opponent, for anybody out there that maybe find themselves in that position, if you're a fighter, know that, you know, they're looking to give it to the A side, or they're looking to give you a draw. So, you know, let that be a lesson for all you up and coming, you know, pugilists out there, that you know, they're looking to give it to the other guy. And you know, that's also, like I said, I haven't seen the fight, so it's hard for me to be too, you know, forthcoming about it. But everything I heard said that Luke got robbed. So, but we wish Luke all the best luck in the future.
We're gonna have him on the show too. We've been trying to schedule it a couple of times, but
yeah, it kind of fell through.
We'll make it happen.
He's definitely making a lot of noise because, you know, I'd heard him from you. I've heard about him in here from the gym, and even though that he's
stylistically, Luke's a special kid. He doesn't fight like every other Mexican. You know, he's really has. As you wanted to tell the listeners a little bit about what that means, because I feel like it's better coming from you, and you hate Mexican. I mean, I'm kidding. No, but he fights the sweet science, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically I think that you got kids that are coming out of the United States that might, you know, what I say is that, you know, a lot of kids are trying to emulate Julio Cesar Chavez. And what they'll look at is Julio Cesar Chavez's one round where Chavez had stopped somebody, and they try to emulate that one round the whole fight. They don't look at, you know, Julio Cesar Chavez making that man miss, you know, feigning.
The diehard listeners will be familiar with his motif at this point.
Feigning the man. They don't see him testing looks, him looking to set up off of him and so forth. They actually look at Julio Cesar Chavez in that moment where he stops his fighter, which is nothing's better than watch Chavez, you know, stop somebody. I mean, there's a reason why he's considered one of the best fighters of all time. But instead of when you're going out there to train kids or trying to train kids that have that look the whole duration of a fight, and oftentimes, you know, that's not realistic. So you see a fighter come forward and he might be much more bull than he was matador. And I definitely think with, you know, someone like Chavez, great Mexican fighters, Marquez comes to mind, Canelo's being a great Mexican fighter right now, that they're both the matador and the bull. So you got to be both. So, you know, typical, I think, a Mexican fighter, typical sort of stereotype out there. If coming forward, very aggressive, más golpes, hijo, you know, letting their punches go, but not necessarily, you know, working on their craft and working on their sweet science. But to be one of the greats, that's definitely something you got to do. And I kind of challenge everybody out there to look at the guys that came with pressure fighting. You know, and the guys that I can think of are Margarito, and we know that Margarito, you know, definitely has left a stain on his legacy because of the loaded raps, and we really don't know if Margarito is what we thought he was because of the loaded rap scandal. And you know, besides Margarito, I can't really think of another fighter that just came forward with a lot of pressure. Maybe someone like Rios, but you know, Rios was Rios an entertaining fighter, but as far as being one of the best fighters of his generation, you know, I give him all the props in the world. But you know,
good, not great.
Yeah, I mean, great fighter, great heart, great spirit,
but not necessarily.
But not necessarily.
I love Rios, but it's
you know. And
You-
this is
you
why
pay,
people.
You pay a price fighting like that.
That's why people are very excited about
And-
someone like
yeah.
Mikey Garcia is
He's
another
paid
one.
the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia
we love him
can
for
box.
it 'cause
Yeah,
Makes a
yeah.
great
He
show.
makes a great fight. He's entertainment.
Yeah. So that's what people.
Sometimes you take it, yeah.
That's what we mean by typical Mexican fighters. So
So yeah, I guess you guys will get a chance to meet Luke later on. He'll be on the show. We're looking forward to it. We think that performance is good enough to get more looks, hopefully from PBC and other U.S. promoters. And but moving forward, you guys have a new prospect coming to work with you. Is that
yeah,
right?
but I think we're going to keep it on the wraps
Okay.
for the time
Yeah.
being. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have
the new prospect, Garrity McCoskey.
Yeah, Garrity McCoskey is our new prospect right now. But yeah, no, we got a couple guys that look like they're in the process of joining us. They're both ranked in the top 10. But you know, when the time comes, I think that'll get unveiled. And right now too, even outside of that, just looking at the huge talent pool that we have here at Jackrabbit, especially with the young
a lot
kids.
of good kids, yeah.
And knowing that these kids are going to be in positions, whether that be in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, that it's right around the corner.
They're
And,
ready to go.
Yeah, they're ready to go. But it's exciting. I think that Ivan and I both are starting to get more looks from professionals because, you know, they're starting to hear about us and probably because we've been taking a lot of the young kids and getting them out of the gym and bringing them to pro gyms to spar with pros.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we got some 15-year-olds that are
You got 15-year-olds that
that beating some adult ass. I
putting
don't know.
hands on men, then
Just
people will
be
find out.
blunt with it.
Yeah, putting hands on men.
Hey,
they
so
got
Ivan, I wanna ask
that
you-
Wikipedia pages.
Ivan, I want to ask you, what kind of
Carne
interest?
asada? Is he feeding Ashton?
No. What kind of interest are people hitting you up with on Ashton as far as promotional goes? As far as
He's not going to talk about it. I mean, as you can see, listen, you got.
it doesn't happen.
But you got to just from a business point of view, is that you got a young talent out there.
keep the offers coming.
And it's not just
Obviously,
a young talent. I think you have
4 years away until it's the time. But I'm sure you've been hearing
I've
getting phone
been-
calls already.
I've been
which
hearing
is wild.
things through the grapevine.
Well, you know what it is too.
Which is
that-
wild for a 15-year-old.
is that with a young man like Ashton, who I definitely believe to be the future of boxing, just because he's so exciting. He does so many different things that I haven't seen any other fighter do. In fact, it's an accumulation of a bunch of great fighters, and he really does fight in his own style. And anyone that appreciates the sweet science, when they see this young man fight, they're going to walk away and they're going to want to see him do his thing again, because it is so exciting, because it is so different, because there's a different consciousness that he goes about it. And it's just sort of knowing, hey, I know that it's right around the corner. I think it's probably definitely going to happen within 4 years, within maybe possibly 3 or 2, hard to tell. But it's also to say, hey, look, you know, when you see this young man fight, and if you know boxing, I really expect people out there to break bread and come meet him at the table, because God, we're talking about a guy that you know, perhaps can be on some legacy shit, and that's what I see for him. And a guy that can have a belt at 26, 30, 35, 40, 47. We're watching him grow. It seems like this kid gets bigger and bigger every couple
6 months.
Right, you know, so, you know, and he's doing grown man shit out there at the age of 15, and he's making a lot of noise, and people are talking about him.
Yeah,
So,
and for the audience of Boxing Podcast, we'll be putting some footage showing some of his feature fights on the YouTube channel. So Boxing TLDR on YouTube, you'll be able to find some action footage. We shot some footage at his last amateur fight. He hasn't fought since that one in Boyle Heights, right?
No, that was his last one.
So we got some of that. We might put it together. We might have some in the future as well. Is there any tournaments coming up that are looking down the way for this?
You know what? It's a couple tournaments. It's SoCal State. It's I don't know if they call it the Reload, but it's a tournament in Oxnard coming up. Mm-hmm. It's a couple international tournaments coming up.
Are you doing the USA Select still?
Yeah.
You're going to do that? You're going to do that again? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's an opportunity that, like we were talking about, we're getting you guys are getting international looks on
yeah, I mean, it's a great
kids that
they get
before they had to wait until they were 17, 18, 19.
And then they had to wait for if USA picks them.
Right.
You know, we're not.
So now there's an opportunity to get that exposure, because you're going to see different styles in Europe.
Definitely.
Different styles in Asia. You know, wherever, you know,
And every tournament we go to,
Completely
it's like 36 to 50 different countries there.
Yeah.
I'll say that what makes Ashton such an interesting fighter, and I usually talk to people about this, the fighters that I train, is that this idea of, you know, I could be on your time, we could be sharing time, or I could put you on my time if I'm a fighter. Now, obviously, you never want to be in a position where when I'm on your time, because I'm very reactive. Sharing time is okay if I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But being on my time is the most ideal thing. And Ashton, even when I see him against different looks, he's just a fighter with a temperament that when he goes out there is always constantly putting people on his time. And I think this is one of the reasons a lot of people watch him and they think, oh, I could do this or I could do that. I've just seen it happen this past week at Churchill, and you know where you see.
So they think they can apply this.
Yeah, I think
and then he takes it right away from them.
He takes it right away from them. So even with this, it's exciting to watch him
my turn,
develop.
not your turn, it's my turn.
Yeah, develop his craft with international, you know, competition, international looks. But you know, it's just one of these things. It's obviously, you know, you don't walk away worried about it.
No,
because
not at all.
He's certainly always putting people on his time, and then he doesn't even share that much time. And if he does, it's just for a split second. So, really exciting fighter. I haven't seen anything like him that's young. And I've been looking at these young prospects since Devin Haney, and you know, at least for the last 15 years. You know, I remember seeing Devin when he was 9 or 10 at the Gene Lewis tournament. Told everybody that Devin Haney was going to be essentially what he became, which is a bad motherfucker. And watching him grow up and kind of, you know, telling people to look after this young man. And I'm going to tell you that, you know, from what I could see, this talent surpasses anything that I saw with Devin. And that's not just because I'm at Jackrabbits. It's not just because, you know, I get to help out your son or, you know, I'm part of the team. It's, you know, regardless whether or not I had this position or not.
Yeah, I know you've been saying it for years.
I've been saying it for years, even way before I had anything to do with Ashton. So.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to see, and you know, we hope the audience will be along for the ride too. In fact, I mean, he already has a huge audience. Doesn't he have like
70, 60, 70.
Okay, I thought it was like 40, but now it's
60 to 70,000 followers.
So, yeah,
I mean, you got a lot of people follow the gym.
It's a crazy time, man.
The gym,
wow.
We got 30,000 followers at the gym or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, you gotta. It's not just we got Ashton. You know, we got so many young kids out here. We got Sincere Brooks is another young talent that we have. You know, he reminds me of a young Deontay Wilder. He's got a right hand, and he puts adults down too. He's teaching adult lessons. We got Alex. You know, I used to say this. I always mess it up. Getch, and we got Frederick Getch. Yeah. Listen, Frederick is like.
That boy's coming together.
He's coming together. And I think that when Frederick was another one that we brought up to Churchill, move around with some adults. And
handled himself.
And it was his first real test. But to watch this young man fight, I mean, shit. The way the things he's doing grown man shit at age 15, and has a certain look to him. So.
And Churchill, for those who don't know, is
a Wild Card West.
Wild Card West got renamed to Churchill. And if you're not from California, and you're listening to this thinking about. This is a gym it's kind of like a gym that has money back behind it, and they have a lot of prospects there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's in a nice area, and it's like a rich looking gym, and it's got money behind it, and the names in there are supported by promoters.
I think Regis Proje is coming out of Churchill because he's here in Southern California.
So it's a good spot to go and get looks from a lot of people.
Ray Beltran's in there training. You know, it doesn't mean he's just us training a wild card. So I mean, they've got a lot of young talent in there. I know that Shane Mosley Jr. was in there. We saw Shane Mosley in there last week. You know, it's a lot.
Why didn't we get him on the podcast?
We probably could, but you know, it's definitely. Let's work on that. So it's a lot of up and coming talent that are coming out of that gym. But what's exciting is that we're bringing our talent over there. We're shutting them down. So you know, and it's not to be, you know, it's not to. It is what it is. I mean, I wish, you know, I don't feel bad about saying it because it's just it is what it is. So, yeah. So you didn't watch the Charlo fight?
I didn't get a chance to. That was last night, right? Sunday night.
Yeah. You ever see?
I saw the results. You know.
Joey Spencer.
Right. Oh, Joey Spencer. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
What do you think about Joey Spencer?
I don't think, you know, listen, I can't lie about boxing.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah. I don't really think too much about Joey Spencer. I haven't seen anything that makes me think that this kid is a great prospect. He's a good-looking kid. I know that he's coming out of the East Coast. He fights with a little bit of cutesy style.
I think he's from Michigan.
Is he from Michigan?
Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing about.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know why I
yeah.
thought he was from like the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But
Oh, really? Is he from the Bay?
I don't know.
No, it's
I don't
Michigan.
know. I
There's
don't know.
nothing about him that I saw in his performance that makes me think that he's ready for a bigger spotlight. In fact, sometimes when you got guys that get airtime, they're going to drop the ball a little bit, or they might have to go back to hitting the grindstone, back to the chalkboard, the board, back to the gym and so forth.
One
And
of those.
get them and we get the plan back together, because it's definitely when you give a fighter TV on prime time, you want them to have a certain look. This doesn't mean that everybody's going to pass that. I mean, this, to be honest with you too, with little B-Hop, primetime, Colbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another
Colbert?
one. Colbert, yeah. Chris Colbert, right? Is this-
Yeah.
Chris Colbert. Here's another young man that we've all been watching come up through the amateurs. We've seen him, go pro. He's got a great, exciting style to him. He's explosive. He's slick. He's got swag. He knows how to move around the ring. But I don't necessarily. The one thing that I walk away and I'm kind of disappointed is that, it doesn't seem like he could punch too much, right? And I don't see him.
Yes, that.
I think he only got 4 knockouts or 5 knockouts.
2 maybe. Something like
He
that.
didn't have that many fights, though. It wasn't. He's needed less than 10, 8 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, listen. When you
Okay, see.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go, no, you say
No, because I knew I was seeing Spence like around Spencer,
Yeah.
around the Bay Area, like
Yeah.
posting. But Union City, that's where you live now.
Oh, he's from Union City. So yeah, by Daly City.
From
the Bay Area. by
but he
Central
was
City.
from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. When kids get this look, it's very important. Any young pugilists out there, fighters out there, or people just listening. When you get this look, it comes along with so many different things. It comes along with a different responsibility for us trainers. It comes along with a different responsibility for the fighters. The managers and so forth. Everybody collectively has to be on the same page that everyone is going to do their due diligence and have great discipline, and we're going to have the performance together.
Well, then that's what I need to ask you. What do we gotta do to be on the same page? Like honestly.
Oh, with you?
Because I'm 27. I've learned other things, other places,
Yeah.
and I'm coming to this relationship batting 500.
Yeah. I think that there's a time and a place for everything.
Is there enough time
I
to
mean,
reteach
specifically
the sweet
with
science?
the sweet science? You already know.
Because I go in there, I try to hit, but I
but
get
you
hit.
already know how to fight, so that's not a problem. Like you're a fighter, so that's
Yeah.
not a problem. It's just introducing you to a consciousness, introducing you to knowledge, introducing you to ideas of application to go about your craft. How are you going to set up traps? Are you going to test feints? Are you going to measure the man's distance? Are you going to see if the man drops his hand? Maybe the man has a tell, like every time he goes to throw right hand, he pulls back on his right hand. Maybe he does the same thing with his jab, where he bone arrows his jab. Maybe every time the man throws a shot, he pierces his lips. And but all this has to do with consciousness.
So you think we have time?
Oh
to be
yeah,
able
I
to
mean,
do
with
this
you,
work?
there's time and a place for everything. With your plan, ideally, go get you some fights, probably in Mexico, a couple fights, get you reacclimated.
They're gonna love that
back to the game.
Galacho down there.
Yeah, bring you
They're
back,
gonna love
and then start giving you looks again that are tougher, but definitely far away
I
from.
got-
But here's what I would say: you are very far away from Spencer and Colbert.
Yeah.
Colbert. Those guys are
Yeah.
like 9 or 10. This is if
Yeah.
we get you to 12-1, get you to 10-1, 13-1.
No,
Listen,
my
if you're a
question
white
being-
guy
my
that,
question being-
that has that
There you
record,
go.
they're checking in, baby.
Yeah. Then I'm getting the. I'm
gonna make you
the
walk
look
out
right.
to the Bocelli's.
No. But what I'm asking is not necessarily. I'm not trying to compare myself to anyone because I know I'm leagues away from. I guess we're talking about the league of white prospects. But what I'm saying is, do we think we have time to reteach my bad habits? To reteach?
Absolutely. I don't listen, man. Repetition.
And this is live. This isn't anything
Yeah.
prepared. It's the first time I'm asking
no,
you.
absolutely. Repetition is key. I mean,
Because I'm ready to relearn. I'm
wanna lock
coming
in-
in humble because
Yeah.
I was in a rush to turn pro, and I literally the story is I actually walked into I don't think I've ever told live in this. I walked into a event that Top Rank was putting on. It was a Top Rank Media Day, and I go in there and I start networking, and then I just ask who's the guy I should talk to.
This is your first fight.
This was before my first fight. This was
Okay.
summer. I came back from college and I hadn't yet.
did you meet Bruce Trampler?
No, I met several people, but it was Carl Moretti. Somebody, I would talk to a guy. I was like, hey, I'm a young boxer. I had some amateur fights. I boxed, at that Notre Dame tournament. I know they had signed another Notre Dame guy back in the past, but
Who's fighting Caleb
right.
Plant?
Who's gonna
Mike
get
Lee.
smoked
Right.
by Caleb. So that, I was networking, asking who do you talk to, and they were like, oh, Carl Moretti's the guy you talk to. Like he's the one that loves Notre Dame football, and so that's So I'm like over there on my phone, looking up like what he looks like, to make sure. So to make sure when he had already left for the rest of the day, so make sure the next time he was back at that. This was before the Jesse Vargas and Timothy Bradley fight in Carson. This was 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
And he came back, and he was actually in his car, and I ran up to his car, I stopped him. I was like, hey, I just want one more time. And then I gave him my elevator pitch right there, and he was like, come to the fight on Saturday and talk to me. You know what I mean?
He's a Notre Dame guy too, though, right?
He likes Notre Dame. Yeah, he wasn't a grad, but he's a Subway alum.
There's something. Okay.
He loves Notre Dame.
All right.
Big Notre Dame fan.
Yeah.
And that was my in. That was how I got my chance to get one fight with him.
Even put that aside. Look, what's
no,
that?
what all I meant to say. All I meant to say was I was in a big rush to accomplish his dream of turning pro and getting a pro fight under my belt. And then I kind of was just in a no man's land when I got that second fight, kind of bouncing around with trainers, and it was not a good idea. But what I mean now is that now I have been for 4 years at a job that wasn't putting me in a good headspace. Finally pulled away from that job. I'm working on things that I care about now, whether it be this channel, whether it be some of my projects at home, and some of my personal development things and entrepreneurial ventures. But the focus now is no longer do I have that that need to get a fight immediately. I'm ready to relearn here.
I would say don't put too much on it. First of all, even if you're a fighter out there and you find yourself in Garrity's position, where you're 1-1, or even if it's you're 0-2 or 0-3 or whatever, if you get to the right people that actually know what they're doing, as far as the sweet science, as far as knowledge and being able to teach, we're going to lock it so much into your subconscious. It's going to be so ingrained and it's going to become so much a part of you.
But what's hard is that a lot of guys like me won't get looks from anyone. Well, no one will want to work with them.
Yeah.
You're just a slow white boy, is what I get a lot of the times. You know what
I
I
mean? Listen, this is a business.
From my second fight, I was bouncing around because I couldn't really get a coach.
Unfortunately, you got to look at it from our point of view. This obviously.
That's why I'm lucky that you guys are willing to work with me.
It's an investment of our time, right?
Yeah.
It's not like there's no sure things with any of these kids.
Exactly.
I hate to say it, but most trainers look at, including myself. I'd be a liar to say if I didn't have a part of me that does this. That I look at young men and young women, if they're coming around to fight, as racehorses. And I start looking at the size of their hands and their athleticism and their speed, and do they got good focus, and do they got presence, and their temperament, how do they hold themselves, their body language. It's a long list of things that I'm looking at. So,
at least you're not
finding yourself in that position.
What's the other term of
a flesh peddler?
Flesh peddler.
No, I'm not a flesh peddler. But if I were a flesh peddler, I'd hype you up as hard as I could and get you clipped for $700. So I'd take you and it'd be telling you you're gonna win the fight. And somehow, somehow fake a reason why I couldn't be on the corner while I was counting my $700 on the side. So
you're cheap, man. For $700, how many?
Listen, if you get 3 of them going in one fight, it's $2,100. So but I'm not a flesh peddler. I'm definitely not in it for this. I don't want to see any fighter that I train, I'm sure you feel the same way, run across them and they've lost their faculties in the future and they're stuttering.
Can't do it.
So, but no, this is what I would tell you, just for out there, if you find yourself in Garrity's position, you gotta let all that shit go.
Yeah.
The moment you started boxing is when you walked through this door, you hooked up with us, and you started all over again.
Yeah.
Whatever happened in your career, whatever losses came, the quicker you can let that shit go.
And I was long-winded, but I'm trying to. I was long-winded, but I'm trying to get to that in like.
And you got to get rid of that word "try." Throw that motherfucker out of here.
Out the fucking door.
Yeah, out the fucking door. Stop saying "try."
I started trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently telling you. I am. I'm not trying to tell you. I am telling you right now.
Right. You're here for a reason.
The taking acceptance of the past and what happened, like initially that rocked me. Initially, there was many other things but I would say that getting knocked out and clipped after, you know, that fight I walked into, but you said I shouldn't have been in. Getting knocked out in that fight triggered me into a spiral depression that lasted quite a while.
Yeah, but I mean,
But what I'm saying is the best way to get over that. Yeah, the best way to get over that is I completely
gotta let it go,
accepted that. You know, I'm trying to tell you that I have is what
Well, we're happy to have you here, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and there's nothing to prove anymore. You know what I mean? Like I got my little thing out of the way. I don't need to. I'm not rushing to get a fight because now I'm willing to relearn. It's been almost 4 years, and I'm willing to relearn. I got some of my other goals out of the way, and now I'm ready to get back to boxing. And then, you know, someday boxing will end and there'll be bigger goals outside of boxing. But
well, we don't give a shit about those. We just want you here to fight.
Well,
you want to talk about Charlo?
Tell me about Charlo.
Talk about, what's the movie? Y'all want to see a dead body? What is it?
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, right. Let's get that scene. Y'all want to see a dead body?
Man.
That's what that knockout looked like.
A dead body.
A dead body, yeah.
Out again, and that will do it.
I don't know if the ref should have let him continue after the first knockout.
He shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have, right? Especially with the way the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight had gone down, where Guillermo had knocked out his opponent, and
they stopped it.
They stopped it immediately.
Saved him.
But man, you talk about a fight as far as seeing a hell of a knockout. My God, you know, Charlo too. You know, I think that we both, at least on my side, I thought that he looked a little bit stiff. He looked a little bit attentive.
I thought he looked nervous.
Yeah, like no
thinking too much.
Thinking a little bit too much, but you know, when he did what he was supposed to do,
he got the job done.
And man, when I'm thinking about knockouts, I'm thinking about the Deontay Wilder Brazil knockout, and now I'm thinking about this Charlo knockout. If we're looking at knockout of the year, devastating knockout. Looked like the man died.
Is that the same one that knocked out Julian?
Julian Jackson? Or
No,
Julian,
Julian.
not Jackson. Julian Williams.
Yeah.
Charlo.
I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, something about, I don't know what they're feeding these boys in Houston. I don't know if the tri-tip or the barbecue, whatever, something's going on, but some sweet potatoes, brisket.
I'm going to propose, if the Charlers are listening, rebranding. I am having a hard time with Jermel and Jamal. I think we just need to go with nickname, like, you know how Canelo just took on Canelo? So that we can distinguish.
They have a nickname.
But they're not using
His nickname is Iron Man.
Do you hear them saying it?
No, not at all.
They're not saying it. If I were,
But man, this is the dilemma of life with all twins. It's not just the Charlos. I mean, shit.
Yeah, but they're both competitive, and they're
Yeah.
both competitive in boxing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but Bruce Curry, Donald Curry, I mean, it's like the brothers, and you know. But
Bruce and Donald is a little bit farther than
I know,
Jermel and Jamal.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
But
I know the mom didn't know they're gonna be found famous, but it does make it difficult
twins.
as a promoter.
But shit, both of them could fight. My God, you know, even in this moment, you know, I would have much rather seen him fight Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison, I guess, got some sort of ankle injury. You know, if I'm Tony and I'm sitting in the stands.
Mosquito bite.
Wait, wasn't there something about Tony? Maybe I'm getting the wrong.
Tony Harrison.
Was there speculation on?
He got a mosquito bite. He couldn't fight.
What? I thought. Wait, I don't want to be.
No, what you're talking about is most fights. So most
he
time,
got
like
PD?
No.
Okay.
Injury.
I'm thinking of someone else. I'm sorry. By no means.
I think that
to,
just as a general sort of
blasphemous.
where the boxing minds go when they see a fighter pull out, you know, but he pulled out pretty early.
Yeah, no, I think he was injured. I think he was
5
injured.
6 weeks. Yeah. And to be honest with
Something
you
was
too,
going on.
Tony knows. I mean, if you're looking at Tony, also has to be responsible for his career. I'm sure he's getting great money to fight Charlo again on the rematch.
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
better money than he got in the first look.
So it's hard to back away. If you had been
he's
really
probably going to walk away.
I thought
getting
mosquito
that.
bite was a joke for
but
like.
he, you know,
like,
he's a
been
prize
using
fighter.
PEDs.
I'm too close. I'm still pissing dirty. I need to get out of the
No,
fight.
no, but he's definitely a prize fighter. It's been a great, lucrative fight for him to fight him again. They're going to fight again, no matter what. Tony Harrison's from Detroit. He used to train with Emmanuel Steward, you know, from the legendary Kronk. Definitely, you know, I don't think that he's shying down from a fight. That's just not the nature of any Detroit fighter,
Hey,
especially one from Kronk.
You're a big Emmanuel Steward guy.
I am, yeah. I love Manny.
What does Kronk mean?
What does
that?
Kronk mean? Kronk to me is the probably the most iconic gym of all time. You got Gerald McKellen.
Is it an acronym?
No, it's not.
But what does that word mean?
Where did it come from?
I don't. You know what? I think I'd read it and I had forgotten about it.
And what's interesting about that gym, people, you'll remember.
Thomas Hearns.
Tommy Hearns.
Gerald McKellen.
But in amateurs, kids will wear the gym.
Yeah.
You know, that never happens in the pros. But this is that one gym that in the pros throughout history, they have repped on their trunks the gym they go to, which is like kind of like a young man's game in the amateurs to say where you're from.
Yeah.
You're talking about a gym that had killers.
But what I'm saying is I find that interesting that
you know,
the gym is almost the franchise,
but I'm
the
saying
clubhouse
if you can't
for that team of
this is what I
guys
tell
from
people.
history.
This is what I tell people, and obviously this is
But we don't know what Kronk means, right?
No, but the bias of having a gym like Kronk, right? When you got Jared McKellen coming out there, you got Thomas the Hitman Hearns, right? You had James Toney, who was in and out all the time. Mike McCallum, who was in and out all the time. Eventually, you get to guys like Lennox. Andy Lee's another great fighter. They came out of there.
I was going to mention that if you didn't.
Yeah.
Don't forget Andy Lee, man.
But I mean, Andy Lee.
Andy Lee came out there?
Yeah, I mean, Andy Lee was from Ireland, gets over there with the Manny Steward. I mean, even all the way to
the Klitschko's.
The Klitschko's was Vladimir.
Mm-hmm.
And another one too, Miguel Coda was over there. I mean, Ray Beltran was over there for a little bit. Gennaro Chicanito Hernandez was over there for a little bit. You just got an incredible amount of fighters that coming out of there. Manny, this is what I say about the legacy of that gym. When you take Tony Harrison, who's still repping the Kronk on his shorts, and another prospect that what's the kid's name? Anthony Sims Jr. Mm-hmm. He's another kid that has the Kronk that he's still putting on his shorts. This gym, the reason why they were putting Kronk on the shorts is because when you have that many bad motherfuckers coming in and out that goddamn front door, the name itself knew that you were coming from one of the hardest places on the planet,
right.
And you meant business. So
borrow some of that goodwill from the gym you've been to, and people know you're bad.
Yeah. So we're gonna put Kronk on your shorts.
That'd be the biggest poser move of all time.
I'm fucking.
I've never even. Is that in Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, listen. This is what I tell people
right?
about Jackrabbits. Mm-hmm. Our whole goal in here, and I know that Ivan has heard me say it too, is to be the Kronk of the future. Is to have not just one killer, not just two killers or three. It's to have a legacy of people that we've dealt with that ultimately end up in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And as trainers, we end up in the Boxing Hall of Fame. We are on some legacy shit. If you're a guy out there that's looking to have your first world champion, I get it. We want our first world champion, obviously. But I'm sure we both collectively agreed it isn't about one world champion. No, I want, and when they look back at it, I want them to look back at it as like these guys were the Emmanuel Stewards of their day, and they were coming out there and they made a bunch of killers. If you're in boxing and you don't look at it like that, thank you.
Yeah.
So you
doing me a
so both of your vision is like a.
This is something I say.
A 20, 30-year master plan here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is looking.
Oh yeah.
This is looking down the road of where it's knowing that one day that we'll be in New York and somehow we're in the back of some classic car, waving to people, and we got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's if you're in boxing and you're not thinking about you're not thinking about the Hall of Fame. They bring the classics down there.
Yeah.
You never seen the parade?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So I mean,
I love classics.
You gotta really know. And I honestly, something that Floyd Mayweather said that I'm sure you had said, which is you've heard him say, which is he was the best ever, and he had to believe that. And it's the same thing with the belief of us. I believe that we're gonna make as many world champions as we decide to, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. But yeah, Kronk is incredible. Manny is definitely missed. One of the best commentators that I've seen doing on HBO.
Oh yeah.
One of the best trainers. Eddie Futch is another guy that comes to mind. And there's other trainers out there, but definitely those two I think stand out.
So what trainers do you look up most to? Emmanuel Steward, Chicanito Hernandez.
I mean, look, I look up to a lot of different trainers. I mean, I'm sure there's certain guys that do good things. Pedro Diaz is another guy that comes to mind, the Cuban that had Miguel Cotto.
I don't know.
He had Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Is he stateside?
He's in Florida. Salas is another guy. He does great work. He's had Jorge Linares. He has what's the Cuban with the mohawk? You know him. He talks to me.
I know you're talking about. Okay,
Yeah. So I mean, when you're looking at even there's different kind of trainers out there. Some guys are motivators. I work with Jesse Reed. Jesse Reed, when I was around him, was an incredible motivator. I think Angelo Dundee, for the most part, was a motivator. You know, you're blowing it, son. You know, and then you have guys that are motivators and trainers. You kind of have to be both. You got to be a teacher too. You got to be you got to look after these people. You got to look after the fighters. You got to make sure that they're loved. You know, Teddy Atlas comes to mind. You know, Virgil Hunter obviously comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Although with someone like Verge, I haven't seen him duplicate the success that he had with Andre Ward.
With his other fighters.
With his other fighters. And to me, that points to.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not someone in the making. Like.
Well, I will say this about this is my
the right kid is maybe 17 years old and he's working with him.
But
who knows?
This is something that I think Ivan and I collectively agree on in the gym, or we try to get down to is that with the drills and so forth. You know, we believe in the drills, but we also believe that every young man is going to freak it his own way, and that also that there's a sort of consciousness and a knowledge and an application, a way to go about things in the ring that we're teaching, which is, I think, much more important than having every one of my fighters look the exact same. That, to me, gets a little sketchy. I got a guy like Sincere Brooks, incredibly long guy, long wingspan. His temperament is also to be aggressive. You know, how am I gonna have that guy be cool and collected? You know, I can't have them all the same.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna have to take different approaches
with Verge,
sending him versus sending.
Yeah.
Let's say Ashton or something.
I think with Verge, and you know, I'm obviously not intimate with this process, but watching him develop fighters, that I didn't see him develop any fighters that were as good as Andre Ward, and perhaps that's because Andre Ward is just that dope. You know, he's that good himself, and but you know, I like to say that we're into teaching consciousness, we're into teaching thought, we're into teaching how to go about a certain way, There's certain kids like Frederick.
The drills we do up there is an example.
He's gonna do something differently. Frederick looks incredibly sexy when he does shit.
Man,
he looks like
watch what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying he looks like a little like a Guillermo Rigondeaux. He looks like a Lomachenko. You know, he moves good, man.
Well,
yeah, so like he does shit where you're like, oh man, who is this kid?
How old is Frederick?
15. So, but just looking at you know, different things. His brother does great things too. It's his temperament that I'm fascinated with his brother. It's the way that he goes.
Killer.
He really likes to enjoy hurting people. You know, different sort of mindsets. If you're training young, here you got two brothers from the same family tree, same household, everything, same environment. They got different different mindsets, different ways that they go about their process in the ring. I think that it's us introducing consciousness, seeing how they go about their process and adding to it. This idea that you're going to have a cookie cutter factory of all your fighters that have a specific look. No. And I will say this with Virgil. I felt like Virgil did that, and maybe I don't want to come off as Virgil's accomplished so much in the sport, much more than I have. But I did feel like some of the looks that he was giving the guys, that it was a little cookie cutter, that he was trying to make everybody look the same. And this could be my bias. This is how I feel. But Freddie Roach is another guy.
I mean, until it changes, until the next guy that changes that opinion of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who we judge him on? We're judging him on Amir Khan. We're judging him on, he had Dominic Brazil. Yeah.
I mean, but that's tough because it's like
Andre Berto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't judge him on that because
even a guy like Andre
guys
Berto
that come to you, they're already their own men. They're already their own boxer. They've had their career, and they come to you right before the biggest.
Well, most of these guys, I mean, that's most of the.
It's like, I'm not gonna be able to fix everything.
But this is the common sort of thing about what happens in fighters in these positions, is that when they end up getting to that marquee trainer, that trainer that everybody knows of, whether that be Joe Goosen or Jesse Reed or Freddie Roach, Shadid Saluki comes to mind. All these guys that are out there training, you can't forget Robert Garcia, Joel Diaz, When they get to these guys, that they already have been developed to so much to a certain pedigree, also with habits and so forth. So I think that when you get to a guy, you try to change up his style too much, that's probably never going to work in your favor. It's probably better to see what they do and see how you can upgrade it or evolve it,
Right.
make it
Double
better.
down on what
Double down on whatever.
Double down on what you like.
double
about
down
it 'cause
on
you
whatever
ain't
it
gonna-
is that got them to knock on your door in the first place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you got a slick fighter, naturally, you sort of know that he has an inclination or proclivity to be slick, right? He's not gonna it's gonna make no sense for him to come to me and say, hey, I want you to go in there and every day we're gonna walk him down. It's not his temperament. You get a guy that's, but now that doesn't mean you get a slick fighter. What do we want to see him to do? Learn things he doesn't do naturally. And so you put him in that kind of position, but you also know that he's never going to be. That's where Rigondeaux looks strange because we've seen Rigondeaux stand toe for toe
For what, 8 rounds?
8 rounds in the pocket, and in fact looked like he had been training at Maywood Boxing Club. You know, went toe for toe.
But I thought he had a plan.
Yeah.
I thought he had a plan.
Well, it worked out because he.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you know, training fighters is obviously like Freddie Roach. I said this about Freddie. If I have a great pressure fighter, I think that's a great fit for me to bring him to Freddie. If I got an aggressive fighter, that's a great fit for me to bring him to Freddie.
Because Freddie will.
Freddie's gonna
teach him,
he's
calm
gonna-
him down
he's
and
gonna-
teach him how to
he's
go,
gonna-
or double down on that.
He's going to double down. He's going to give him more ability to cut off the ring, more ability to test looks, more ability to be more physical, more ability to walk that man down, more ability to have that mindset.
And have the best guys that Freddie worked with all been aggressors. Well, Pacquiao's.
I mean, Manny's both. He's definitely a
Right.
boxer and an aggressor.
Coda, when he was there, Coda could be both, right?
Coda could be both. But we're also talking about 2 Hall of Famers.
Right.
And then if we put the Hall of Famers names aside, we start looking at the other guy. I know he's got Jesse Vargas right now. It'd be
Oh, he
interesting.
does.
Bonnet,
Yeah. I don't. Did he have Vanes March the Song
I
for a
feel
little bit?
like that's like
I mean,
yeah.
he had who's the Russian that?
Provodnikov.
Yeah, Provodnikov. There we go. So aggressive.
Where is Provodnikov?
I don't know.
I think he's
Aggressive.
in Russia.
Aggressive fighters, right? He looks
He's in
good.
the snow somewhere.
Yeah,
So-
enjoying his money.
He's enjoying his money, but aggressive fighters are going to do great with Freddie. Pernell Whitaker, I don't think does great
No.
with Freddie, and that's just being honest. I don't think anything, not that he wouldn't have won with Freddie, but Pernell Whitaker's mindset was different than Freddie Roach's. The different
It's not a
consciousness.
good marriage. It's not the right. It's not the
Yeah,
right
I mean,
marriage.
same thing. Now, would Pernell would have been okay with Floyd Joy Mayweather Sr.? Absolutely, it was a good fit. Would he have been okay with some of these other
Who
guys?
was Pernell Whitaker trained by?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's before my time. But someone I wouldn't have ever.
Yeah. If you're out there watching and you want to watch some defensive highlight reel, Pernell Whitaker is definitely a guy you should be checking into. He's got an incredible highlight reel. So, I mean, what he did to Oscar De La Hoya, although they robbed him.
Yeah, defense, man. Defense that's one of the things I'm excited about
And
learning. I
Chavez.
feel like I had none before.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like.
No, I mean that's
You used to block punches with your face.
yeah. Today I made a miss with one time when I was thinking, man, Trevor, that head off line thing you've been teaching me, that works.
Yeah.
I was able
Listen,
to get out of the way. If I was standing up like I used to stand, I would have got
Bye,
taken
yeah.
out.
and people gotta understand too. This, if you're watching the show and you get caught with a shot, it's really hard when you get caught with a clean shot to keep that focus. Right?
You get pissed off and you
Because
get changed.
now you're fighting the third man in the ring, like you said. All of a sudden, you're fighting yourself. Emotions hit you. You got adrenaline that's kicking in, testosterone, fight or flight, whatever it is. And now you're thinking, like, oh man, I got to prove something, yada yada yada. If you slip that shot, you can keep your mindset.
Or I've been in a position where you get hit by a shot. You may have had a good round. You get hit by a shot, and then you enter this sort of feeling of like, oh, like it changes your head. You think you're down. You think you're down in the round because of that, like.
Yeah, you're fighting a third man in the ring, which is yourself.
Yeah, and then you completely.
You only
lose
want to
it,
be
and
fighting
then
that man
your
in
coach
front of
sits
you.
down and tells you, what's going on. You're doing everything fine. And it's like later on, I thought about it. It was like, for some reason, I thought I was losing that round, but really, it would have just been one
because of
sequence
that,
that made me think that. But that's because of maturity and I don't know.
Yeah. So, there's any fights coming up that we can think of?
This weekend we got I try to keep.
What about the man? I got something to talk about.
What I got something
Comey
to
is
talk
fighting.
about.
Go.
Go ahead.
What about Charlo and Adams?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, Brandon Adams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon.
Local guy.
Local guy. Obviously,
like
got to give him love. The guys at Elite Pro Boxing in
Right.
Santa Fe Springs. Guy won the Contender. You know, great. You know, obviously wasn't.
I used to see him at Maywood a lot.
Wasn't an easy look.
Back in the day.
You know, listen, I truly believe there's a time and a place for everything, right? And whether or not Brandon, if this is his time and a place for Charlo, being real, you know, like I said, it's boxing. Why lie? No, I don't think it's a good look for him right now. I feel bad because here you have this young man that's put himself in a position where he's gotten the accolades, he's getting the accomplishments, and anything that he probably could have taken that momentum from Contender and been able to get him more looks.
It'd be good to get some TV time before you get a title
that TV
fight.
time, figure out his craft more, see if there's any holes that he needs to deal with. You're also talking about a guy that certainly, they're at 60, right? Yeah, certainly from a physical point of view, just talking about biological markers of a man's height and physical. Now I know what you're thinking. Got to keep it 100. We know we got Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua here. So it doesn't always matter.
So the problem you're going to be is he's much shorter than Charlo, right?
Yeah, I mean he's much shorter. He's physically much smaller. I don't think that he's ever dealt with anybody that's as rangy as him. He definitely hasn't dealt with anybody as explosive as him. He hasn't dealt with anybody
big boys.
that's as well schooled as him. You know, he's with Ronnie Shields. We know who Ronnie Shields is. That's another trainer we didn't mention. Ronnie Shields has had incredible success over the years. He's not coming. Ronnie Shields has been with him for a long time. You know, he's definitely, I don't know if that's the right look for him. And, you know, I hope they're paying him well. But when these guys are looking at money, you know, you look at Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins had put himself in positions where he had said no to certain fights at particular times. Mm-hmm. Because maybe that he just didn't see his career evolving that way. You know, with Brandon Adams, I would, you know, wish him the best of luck.
Brandon might feel he can't say no. He might feel well.
Well, listen, man.
The money might be real good.
The money's good, and you know, what do you say? Someone was saying this about fighters making money.
You just won the Contender, and then you're going to be on.
Let's say that Brandon is making $250,000 to $500,000 a year. You think he's making more?
A year?
Currently,
no, for a fight. I'm sorry.
This fight.
For this fight?
Yeah.
250 sounds
I think he's
decent.
making $1 million.
You think he's making $1 million?
I think he's getting $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if
I think he got
Fox.
Didn't he get 250 for the
Isn't it on
Contender?
Fox?
yeah, maybe, yeah. But okay, but if you get 250 for the Contender, or you're getting $500,000, $1 million, he's in the right place. This is what I said. You know, I've had fighters, like I said, I've had fighters that have fought for $250,000. In the next fight, they fought for $2,800. Mm-hmm. This is boxing.
It goes back to 5.
Oh yeah, this is boxing. I mean, because why it is the next guy he fought, you know, at some casino in the Pacific Northwest. I can't remember the name of it right now, for a good reason, and I can't remember I think it was Darnell Boone, but I can't remember. Anyways, is you go back, man. You literally just you can put that car, you can redline that car, finally get in a seat where you're making great money, and next fight you're making $3,800, you're making $5,000, you're making $10,000 because you no longer are irrelevant. Mm-hmm. A guy like Brandon, he won the show. That's great.
Sometimes you're that guy that is there to improve someone's resume. Like you're that used to be that's gonna get.
That's that stamp on that resume.
You know?
That's the stamp. Yeah, and
like we were talking about flesh pedaling earlier. We're talking about you said I'm gonna hype you up to a couple of wins, and then like that's all part of the game.
Listen, no one's getting flesh pedal for $1 million.
No, I'm talking about at the 10,000
or for
range.
$500,000, but
$10,000.
$10,000. Yeah.
You're being somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like you're being somebody else's.
Yeah. I'm surprised they made the fight happen. To be honest with you, if I'm looking at prospective people that I could have had Charlo fight at 60, right? You know, I'm really surprised that that's who they went with. But sometimes boxing is a business. You look at the guys like Charlo. You know that these guys are going to probably be active for the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. I imagine so. And that there's also a lot of strategy that goes along with that because if I got a fighter that's going to be active for the next 5 or 6 years or whenever they retire, I'm going to give him the right look at the right time. It might not give him who maybe the public would like to see them fight because I got to make sure I'm looking at the long game. I got to look at the longevity of these guys' career. But you know, I don't see Brandon Adams being any sort of threat to Charlo. I wish him the best of luck. He's a Southern California guy. I love to have him on the podcast. I want him to prove me wrong. I want like Andy Ruiz when Well,
We'll
afterwards,
we'll be happy.
I'll
to
be
wrong.
happy as all hell. I'll tell everybody. I'll call up everybody that I know. We obviously have mutual people that know him, folks that know him. I know that you have a good
He
relationship.
trains with.
him.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Who's his
Doug.
trainer? Sorry.
Doug Huntley.
Yes. Kind of like a legendary guy, no?
Yeah.
Well-known guy. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't necessarily see that. Well, you see it any differently?
No.
No.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah. He's in with a very dangerous man.
Well,
the Charlos are
I feel
not,
happy for him if he's making $1 million.
the thing about the Charlos
Yeah.
is they walk.
If he's making $1 million.
You said.
They talk the talk.
I didn't think.
and they walk the walk.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are the thing about the
Charlos
the
is
Charlos
dangerous.
Is
Yeah.
dangerous, man. They're not. There's a reason too that you don't hear a lot of people putting their names in their mouths. I mean, even with I think about Jared or heard sort of talking about him before he caught a loss to Julian Williams.
They would have dogged her.
They would have dogged him, right? It's
You don't hear Canelo putting his name.
oh no. Canelo doesn't say anything about Charlo.
Even though I think Canelo will win, but it'll be a dog fight.
It's just a difficult fight. Even that's a fight.
Which Charlo would that be? I got a hard time.
It'll be the 60.
The 60 Charlo.
160, yeah.
Yeah, Canelo's not
And the other
making
one's
54 no
58,
more.
right?
No,
No, 54,
54.
60.
Oh.
So I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Even with that Canelo fight, it's like, when you're dealing with a fighter where it only takes one, and he's pretty good at getting that one through.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with a guy like Canelo, who, to be honest with you, I've never seen him fight anybody as explosive and rangy as the Charlos that I could think of.
I know a guy that he fought that's as rangy, but nowhere near as explosive. Fielding. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
definitely. Yeah, definitely not as expressive.
Not as
So,
much.
yeah.
But they're about. He was a tall dude.
And when these guys are hitting people, man, it reminds me of Julian Jackson. Something different. I mean, it looked like
You want to see a
they're
dead
taking-
body?
Yeah, want to see a dead body. They're taking some souls out there. And like I said, it's easy to hate these guys because of their temperament. But when you're talking that talk and you're walking that walk and you're getting those results, man, these guys are the real deal. There's a reason why they whisper their names. So
Yeah.
yeah, this what'd you think about the Klitschko? Or no, I'm sorry, Klitschko.
Klitschko.
Usyk and being the mandatory
Yeah.
for
That's who's the mandatory for.
Yeah, for the
Andy
WBO.
Ruiz. Yeah,
I would like to see that fight.
yeah.
After,
You know what I trip out is that you can say that Lomachenko, Klimas, obviously the manager of Lomachenko,
Yeah. He's got all those guys.
has a great relationship with the WBO.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Usyk. You know that this is politics.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's never fought a heavyweight. How does he become the mandatory
Right.
for the heavyweight?
For the title.
For the title.
When there's the rest, the world wants to see the other titleists like go. Wow.
So I don't like it.
But I do think he'll be able to fight at heavyweight. And
Who we talking about? Usyk?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
of
happy
course.
to see him move up to heavyweight.
Yeah.
Because he's undisputed champion at cruiserweight.
Yeah.
I mean,
The lost division.
it's time to move it up,
Yeah, but I hate.
And he's great.
I don't want to be. Usyk's an incredible fighter.
Yeah.
He's great timing. I love the way that he fights. That just keeping it 100. That doesn't mean that he's a big man. That does not mean that he's going to go to the heavyweight division and somehow he's going to dominate. If you think that, you're tripping. I've been in the ring with the bigs.
Yeah.
I've trained bigs. They're different. Period.
You've been in the corner of the ring.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not in the ring sparring, but even holding pads with a big.
Yeah.
Training a big, they're different. They're absolutely different. And even with Usyk, who I'm sure is a big guy, but I've also kind of seen him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a big. So just to think that you're going to go over there and you're going to get successful because you could box and you could fight. There's a whole laundry list of cruiserweight champions that thought the same damn thing. And, unless your name is Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. He's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that I get it. I respect it. I respect it because he's on, like I said, I'm always respect some legacy shit. You got a guy that gets the title at cruiserweight.
Yeah, you're going to get bored.
But to be honest with you, it does feel a little predatory. Like, they're like, Andy Ruiz got this. He's 6
Time
foot.
to jump on
He's
him.
6'3". You know,
I hope they don't think he's a chump.
Yeah, he ain't no chump.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real.
So I
Let
don't
me
see
be
Joshua beating him in the second fight.
No, I think that.
Let me be real. The only why is Mike Lee, and this is a fellow Notre Dame grad, why is Mike Lee in a fight against Caleb Plant? That's a weight 168. That's political as well. 168. Mike Lee was 175.
Yeah.
He is nowhere on any. I mean, it was bullshit if he wasn't. I think
Well,
he might have been on a light.
Mike Lee has
But here's the
people
deal.
that invested in him.
Right.
I'll keep it real.
Absolutely.
They invested in him probably a lot of
saying.
money. You know, and the guy had
And
a
it's predatory
he had
moment because
he had
they
a
probably
Subway
think-
commercial.
They
Remember
probably
this
think
shit?
this is.
The guy had a Subway commercial just because he went to Notre Dame, and I hate to say it, he was a white fighter, right? And
Bro, I say it all the time. Don't look at me like I'm worried.
no, but I
I'm
mean
just
for him
ready-
to,
I'm just ready to get a little bit of
for them to
investment
give him
too.
the Subway look, you know. But it's a big,
I was on a Subway commercial too. No, I swear to God, I was.
for real.
Yeah, it was for rugby though.
That's crazy.
We sang the Subway, the $5 footlong song.
Crazy.
I swear to God, yeah.
I wrote us something. No, so anyway, like what I was gonna say.
I didn't get paid shit though.
They're looking at Mike Lee. There's been a lot of money that's been invested in him. From my understanding, he comes from money, comes from means. Obviously, if you're going to Notre Dame,
Here's the deal.
it'll probably come from means.
Here's the deal though. I was getting on that predatory comment. Probably see,
Do you think
fellow
they
white man, here's our chance. Maybe we jump on that shit. But there's no, the Caleb Plant and Mike Lee,
They're not
light years away.
Yeah, light years away. Mike Lee is much, much more talented. Now, Caleb Plant, you know, listen, Caleb's a real deal.
So Caleb's on that. It's that same card as.
Think about that
as-
division. We think about Caleb, we think about Benavidez at 168. Those are the two that popped to my mind immediately. That's the fight we want to see. We definitely want to see Mike Lee. But it's another thing, too. You got Caleb Plant, young champion. Benavidez, young champion. Both these guys are looking at their championship belts, and they're both thinking, hey, I want to make great business decisions where I am champion and I'm in this for the next 5 years, you know, and maybe longer. They want to hold that title. So why you wonder why Caleb Plant ends up getting a fight with Mike Lee? It's purely business. Mike Lee definitely didn't earn the spot. He definitely not a top 10 fighter. Definitely not someone that I ever checked.
He wasn't
into.
even in this division.
As far as what I can see, he can't fight. You know, that's just keeping it 100.
I've seen him lose twice.
But he got the nod, right?
Yeah.
Typical come forward fighter. You know, it'll be interesting just because
I just hope there's no sketchy shit.
everybody loves a highlight reel.
You know, I honestly.
Everybody loves a highlight
Be
reel.
real.
I expect if Caleb, if you're listening, you don't know me, but I expect a Floyd Mayweather Gotti performance. The whole thing should be a highlight, and I'll be very happy camper. Have me something to watch and giggle about. So, but yeah, come on. But
I believe that's on the same. It's on the undercard of Pacquiao Thurman.
Is it?
I think so. Which would be fun to watch. If I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong. But
That'd be great.
and you know who else is on that undercard? God willing, hopefully everything stays together. Is Flavio Rodriguez will be on that.
Fabio,
He got a look.
yep.
Who was on this show. His last fight, he went on a PBC card and won, and they got him this fight, and so he's gonna be on that undercard. So I'm hoping to go down there. Maybe we can bring the cameras and
Yeah.
got support my boy, Mike Lee. I mean Flavio.
Are you gonna wear a Notre Dame shirt? Notre
Yeah.
Dame.
Yeah, man. All right, should we end it there? Should we wrap it?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else we should pick up on. You got anything else?
No.
You want to say anything about what Jackrabbits is up to?
We got food drive on.
Yeah,
Food
we got
pantry.
food drive. Yeah, we do it every was it Tuesday,
Tuesdays,
Thursdays,
Thursdays.
4 to 5:30.
Yeah, we got a food pantry.
Yeah, so Ivan's doing a lot of things for the community.
Looking after the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
helping out kids,
Folks,
doing the food drive.
If you know anybody in the Long Beach area that needs food
or surrounding area.
or surrounding area, go ahead and stop by 4 to 5:30.
And so, if people were interested in donating, also, what's the network? Where are you receiving the donation from? Are these
At the
suppliers
same-
that are getting rid of things from their stock, or I mean, you have a ton of stuff there, and it's all like continuously the same brand. I'm actually curious now because this part I don't know. Where are you receiving these
I
from?
mean, different
Different
organizations.
Okay.
actively
Good.
out
So
there.
if anyone out there wants to get in and get involved.
I mean, and not just that too. I think the most important thing is just to let the community out there know that if you know some people that are in the need of help, that we definitely want to get them in here and make sure that they're taken care of. No child should go home hungry. No family should be hungry.
And if you got a kid in the Long Beach area that wants to come box, it's a good place to come box too. So.
Yeah, send them in too. So, you know, we talked about this earlier. We did an interview for a Chinese newspaper or magazine. But, you know, about the discipline and that hard work and ethic that you learn in boxing and how you can take away that and apply that to life. And, you know, obviously we've made it well known that we have aspirations at world champions, but also that we have, you know, that we expect young men to walk through the door, you know, 10 or 15 years from now, young women, and they're pillars of the community. You know, they've got families and their children that they're looking after, and that they've learned that ethic in here. So it's definitely exciting. So.
Beautiful. Well, appreciate us having us do the episode here, and I appreciate you letting me come and train here. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Sure.
I'll see you tomorrow.
We're cutting that hair on Wednesday.
And we will see. Yeah, we are cutting the hair on Wednesday.
From your. Didn't you say you had a cute hairstyle?
Yeah. You asked if she was cute, and I said yes. But she's just my hairstylist. That's it.
You have flavor?
No,
A little bit.
not really.
Come on.
I'll be honest, not really.
Never. Because when you get the new haircut though, you start
Oh,
going.
she did
Not
that
really.
to you?
Not really shorter.
Like you went to her and said, hey, look, I'm growing out this mullet, and
No, she's done my mullet like 5 times maybe, like a bunch of times. Every
what
time.
did she say about it?
She's like, all right, you want the mullet? Let's go. Cut the mullet.
Is it like a hair salon with other women in there? Or?
There's like women and men.
What is the reaction?
Hey, dude, we really gotta wrap this
No,
episode.
I gotta know this, and then we'll wrap. So what's the reaction when you walk in with the mullet? Like, are people like, and you're like,
Where?
At the hair salon.
Oh no, I mean, I don't know.
You gotta be the only one that walks in that motherfucker with a mullet, though. Like in the whole year.
Maybe.
So you don't act like you don't know. People aren't like.
I'm not. I don't go to the barbershop once a week, so it's not like an occasion I've like taken stock of. Like I don't know.
You know what? Hey, you know what he reminds me of is
Obviously, I don't really.
You ever see the makeover shows?
Yeah.
Like before and after.
Yeah.
We should get you on. They don't do any like makeover shows anymore.
But this is
We're gonna get you on a makeover show.
This is all right. Yeah, maybe if there's any money in it, we'll see.
this is a bad before and after because before looked better than that.
Yeah, Trevor's been clowning on me every time someone comes to the gym. He'll try to show the picture of when I used to look like at fighting weight.
fighter.
You know.
Right.
We'll get back.
Can we get to,
We'll get back.
We should get to the reactions of what people, when people look at your photo of what you used to look like when you fight,
Oh man.
and versus how they don't believe us.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not.
I mean, if I didn't have the mullet and I didn't have the mustache, they'd believe it. But I can see why they don't now.
Yeah.
I look really freaking hot in those pictures. That's why it's.
You look like an Abercrombie model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
Listen,
do
to get
all
you
that.
on TV, to
We'll
get
get
you
back
on
on TV.
TV,
We'll
we
get
need
them.
to
We'll
get
get
that-
them.
we need to
Yeah,
get
we're
that
gonna
over.
do all that. Don't worry, we'll do all that. And
You want to be in Joey Spencer's spot? You got to get that.
yeah. We'll do all that. That's all coming
Quicker the better.
down later. All right, guys. Really appreciate you tuning in this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, 5-star rating on iTunes, and a review would be great. Share it with a friend. You can send it in a text right there from your Apple iTunes. And if you're not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. Boxing TLDR. And thanks so much.